Hey, good morning. I want you guys to know that we are not alone in this struggle, right? You guys have been hearing my story of what I went through when I went through my divorce. I wanted to share with you some people that have actually come in for counseling and in their story. And of course, I'm going to change the names, right? So I'm actually thinking of someone. We're going to call her Sean, okay? And Sean got married when she was pretty young. She married someone that was actually 10 years older than her. And they had three kids, and she was a stay at home mom, and he worked. And because of that, he kind of made the rules about how things were done. And she kind of felt like, well, he's the one who makes the money, so I have to live with that. And that went on for over 20 years. And at some point, she became very frustrated with it. Actually, what the breaking point was for her was that he got addicted to pain pills. That happens, right? And it wasn't just that he was addicted to the pain pills, but his behaviors became dangerous to everybody involved. And so she made that mental decision to divorce him. Like she mentally divorced him, but not physically. And she knew that although she had a lot of friends and family members, that she could not get through these issues with them. There were things that she didn't want them to know, first of all. And she knew that there was something else going on within her that would prevent her from moving forward. Okay. And so she got in touch with the therapist, and we were able to help her. And we basically had to peel back the layers, like peeling an onion, right? To see everything that had been going on from the time she was a child. And it was a wonderful experience to see that blossom, because for the first time, she got into her own home, her own place. And that joy that she felt of having her own and being able to pay her own bills, not mama, not daddy, not her husband, but she became responsible for her own life. And to be able to walk into her own place and say, this is mine, and I don't have to answer to anyone about anything. Her kids, of course, were grown by this point. And so that was freedom for her, and it was peace. And I remember the words of the freedom, the when she would walk into her place, it was quiet. It was quiet. I don't know if you're a mother with young kids, but you know what it is to have quiet and to have it for an extended amount of time. So that was very important for her. So she was able to get through all of this with the help of a therapist, and then realizing that and learning who she was. Guys, she didn't know who she was outside of her family. And so she learned that. And that was a huge shift for her to be happy in her life. And then I'm thinking of another one. And I'm going to call her Stacy. Okay. And Stacy got married straight out of college. They met in college. And she actually proposed to him. You don't hear that too often. And he said yes, on the condition that he would be able to hang out with his friends whenever he wanted to. And she said, okay, no problem, because they had the same friends, right? And 10 years went by and everything was working very well. She got pregnant. They had their first daughter. She became really focused on their daughter, and he became more focused on work and other people. And they kind of grew apart, and he started having affairs. They actually started sleeping in different rooms and having two separate lives. She's very focused on their daughter. He was focused on their business and all kind of other things. And he was just having affairs. And it got to be a fun game for him to have these affairs. And she just wore masks. She wore masks with their family, with their friends. And she pretended that she didn't know what was going on. And one day reality set in. Reality set in because he became exposed to their family, to their friends, to everybody. It just blew up. And it didn't just blow up in his face, it blew up in her face because she now could not wear the mask anymore. You see? And she didn't want to go to her family and friends and talk about this. I mean, she just didn't. And so she, of course, came for therapy. And with therapy, she was able to take down the mask and embrace her true feelings, which was a ton of anger. You can imagine how angry she was at him, but also being angry at herself because she allowed him for over 20 years to disrespect her in that manner. And she did not love herself enough that she would say something about this, right? That she would even try to work on it. She didn't even try to work on it, guys. She just allowed it. So in therapy, she embraced her feelings and she took down the mask and became real with herself. And when she did that, she was able to move forward. She was able to say, I don't need him in my life, because she felt like she needed him. And she started making her own friends, and she started going places and doing things and having her own life and her own freedom. It was truly freedom for her. And I think the most important thing that she realized was, I don't have to wear a mask. I don't have to pretend to be someone else. I don't have to pretend that I don't have feelings and emotions and a desire to be loved. And when she did that, it was a huge shift for her in her life. And she became happy, not just angry, not just pretending. She became happy. And so I don't know if those stories touch you, if you relate to that, but I would love to hear from you and see what you have to say about this. Okay. Alrighty, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.